Greetings, guys. Welcome to the Wealth for Real Facebook page. It's Monday, December 4th, 2023. Hopefully we get some decent lighting in here on the drive, at whatever, 5:20 p.m. I mean, that's the drawback with daylight savings time is you guys used to, with these lives, you could actually kind of see what's going on over here, but now it's all dark. So forgive me for that, but don't want it to stand in the way of making content and bringing you guys some information that I thought would be of interest if you haven't seen it already. Today in the video, in the live, I just wanted to touch first on the whole gold Bitcoin thing. Been kind of watching that out of the corner of my eye. Did buy some ounces of gold back in September, so definitely have seen appreciation in that short time since then, and I've talked about that here, on various platforms. The breakthrough over 2,100 and then the sharp pullback, and then Bitcoin, of course, making new highs, going well over 40K and stuff like that. It's definitely, it's an interesting dynamic, guys. I'm fascinated by it. I have no idea how it's going to play out. I'm not making any kind of prediction about it. I know why I bought the gold. I know why I believe that in a few decades from now it will benefit it will benefit the trust, the portfolio as a whole, to have it. I firmly believe that. I've gone back and forth on Bitcoin. I just could never bring myself to buy it. And, I honestly, guys, I've heard the definition of Bitcoin and blockchain, more than I can count on two hands. And I couldn't accurately repeat it back to you. I think it's just like there's too much spatiality to it or something. I have no idea why exactly that's the case. But I just, if I can't explain what it is and why it does what it does the way it does it, I'm probably not going to invest in it. I can explain why gold continues to be popular. Maybe not at the meteoric rate of acceleration that Bitcoin is by any stretch of the imagination, but I can generally explain to somebody why gold? Why has that lasted so long? Why does that continue to be popular? I think it could answer that question. You know what I mean? Fairly sufficiently. So it helps for me to be able to do that and to say, okay, I get all that, and I think that there's all this headroom on the price to just go higher and higher and higher as we print more and more money. With Bitcoin, it's weird. It's like with all that inflation that hit, you would think Bitcoin would just be over $1 trillion by now or something, but it actually pulled back. I don't know. I think that conceptually, I love the idea of a digital currency that is truly outside the reach of central banks and federal governments, governing, being the monetary system foundation. I love that. It's a very liberty-based viewpoint on Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, and so that's attractive. It's just that I just don't see how it's going to be allowed. I don't see how central banks and governments are going to allow this to happen. I mean, they have so much power to begin with. How are they ever going to, let this thing slide? So that's where I've always kind of broken down on Bitcoin, is that while I sort of appreciated it from a philosophical perspective, I just couldn't understand how it was ever going to actually come to fruition. And then investment wise, forget it. I can't explain it technically. I can't get my arms around it fully. So I just, I just kind of feel like I'm going to stay away from it. Even though I can look at it now and say, geez, at 19K, at 19,000, Bitcoin looks pretty good now when it bottomed out. I mean, I forget exactly where it bottomed out, but it went down pretty far. And so seeing it go over 42 today or whatever the number was, I mean, of course it's wow, okay, it already doubled in a matter of months. I really don't think gold is going to double in a matter of months. I don't think you're going to have $4,000 an ounce in 6 months or whatever, but who knows? So that was one thing I wanted to touch on with you guys, just got a little commentary on that. Another thing I haven't really mentioned in a while, but I want to close the loop here, guys. I spent a lot of time, I feel very sorry for the agent at New York Life, who was running all kinds of numbers for me on like whole life, disability, long-term care, all this stuff. And she's just been really super, super diligent about it, super helpful about it. She's got me everything I've asked for, right? And I've been sitting on it, and we go back and forth and all this. The bottom line, guys, is it's so prohibitively expensive to do what I had hoped to do from the standpoint of having whole life insurance, long-term care insurance, and some kind of disability sort of attached to the whole life policy. I think that was probably what I was kind of angling for to start with when I first engaged her. But I mean, honestly, guys, like if I did everything that I asked her about at the onset of the dialogue, I think the monthly premium was like $3,000 a month or something like that. It was so high. It was like immediately I was like, okay, well, drop the disability, shrink the whole life down to, next to nothing, and then it becomes worthless. So why even bother? So then it really comes down to the biggest fear that I have, which is being infirm, not being able to do the activities of daily living, and burdening either my significant other and or my son. And so that is the issue. That's the one that I feel like, sorry guys, I just suddenly have a sharp stabbing pain in my nostril. I have absolutely no idea why. I really am deathly afraid of that. Like putting them in a position where they're changing my diaper. They're giving me a bath. They're, you know what I mean? Like things like that. Like I don't want, particularly for my son, if he has a family, he has a life, and all of a sudden all of that goes on hold or has to be paused, to deal with me or take care of me or put me out to pasture, whatever the case may be. Just kidding. So I don't want that to happen. And I just feel like, it's at a point now where I just really believe that if I'm going to get anything, it's got to be long-term care. I just have to have it. It's kind of like I now am starting to think of it in sort of the same neighborhood as having term life insurance in case I go early. Like, if I kick the bucket, when I got to term life when I was 45, let's say I kicked the bucket at 50, could not imagine leaving my family behind with the very paltry assets that I'd accumulated to date. I had to have something there that would give them, that would immediately establish that foundation, could throw it in a high yield savings, could collect, 4, 5, 6% interest off of it, that kind of thing. And that kept me up at night. That was something I was shitting my pants about. So I maybe am not quite that dialed up about long-term care, but it's not a whole lot different. It's not a whole lot different when it comes to that. So that's kind of the deal, guys, is that's where I am with that. I mean, I'm going to provide, I'll run this to ground with you guys. I hadn't touched on it in a while, but I will let everybody know what I end up doing about that. But to me, it's just another protection aspect that has to be bolted onto the portfolio, because what is the point of accumulating assets when there's a chance that my family would have to expend all of them to then take care of me, because there's not enough there to do it. So I think that's something that I really have grown increasingly sort of alarmed at when I think about it. I really picture it. So anyway, guys, that was the update I want to do tonight. I just want to talk gold, talk long-term care insurance, and hope everybody's doing well. Thanks for watching this, guys. We'll be back soon with you. Hope everybody has a great Monday night. Thanks, guys.